Okay, so today I am going to talk a little bit about my cloak. I've made this a while ago, but it was actually a fail cloak. And I will explain to you why. First, these are made out of silver material. And then I put fleece inside. And I have mentioned a lot of times and in my other videos, if you want to check that out, if you want to watch those, you will understand that you cannot touch the fabric. And the other fabric would have to be cotton, 100% cotton, or you will have what I call leakage. Okay? Now, a simple concept to understand that is that you will have to watch the video up here that I've tested. Even rubbing your hand on here, you will gain the EMF. That means this, whatever been absorbed to here, it will pass through here and it will give it to you. And that's why I call it my failed cloak. Okay? This is supposed to be blocking radiation. But as I start wearing it, I made this about a year ago. Actually, no. Oh no, I made this 2 years ago. I made this way before my Faraday cage. Yeah, I went the cheap route. So I said, let me try that. So I bought these silver material, okay? And in case you're wondering, yes, they are silver materials. And I can prove that to you really quick. Just hang on 1 second. Okay. And I'm going to get the meter. Oh, sorry. There you go. I'm going to get the meter. And I'm going to set it on. Sorry, I have to move the camera a little bit here. Sorry if I make you dizzy. I'm going to put it on continuity. Okay. And I'm going to set it to continuity. Because that's what we're measuring. We're measuring the ohms. And you just have touched the two leads together. Okay. Let me pull this out a little bit. Hope you can see. And see that? Really quick. See, 1 point something. And then I'm going to set it to the beeping sound. Okay, so now we know that this material is conductive. Okay, that's how you measure them. In case you want to know, it's simple as that. Set your meter to ohms to measure the ohm, and set your meter to this beeping sound right here. It's called continuity, and then just touch it together, and you know it's conductive. So now we know that's conductive material, but that's what not this video is about. I just add that in just in case people wants to, measure it, whatever. Anyway, I made out of fleece. I'll bring you guys a little closer. I made this out of the fleece, and it has a hoodie on it. Okay? It's a little hoodie. And it's like a cloak when you wear it. Okay? I've made it in a way that you can't touch it. Yes, I went that far. I went that far to make it in the way that you cannot touch the fabric outside. You have to remember. When you're dealing with radiations, you touch it out here, you becomes the antenna yourself. You probably hear that a lot. I don't have to tell you about it. Okay? So basically, it's just a big cloak with the hoodie. And yes, I made this by myself. Okay. Like that. With the hoodie. I follow a pattern. I bought a pattern. And this was actually a cloak for, I believe, Red Riding Hood. You know, those costume cloaks. And it's really big, as you can see. I hope you can see. Okay. And I did it by myself. Of course, there are mistakes and stuff. I'll show you some of my mistakes. Like right here, I try to put them together. See? I'm no perfect. I'm not perfect, and never will be either. But it serves its purpose because, like I said, you can't touch the outside. So I use these like kind of like facing or something. I don't know what they call it, but they're like little ribbons. And I put it on the outside so that way I can't touch it in case, you know. But during sleep, now here's the part that's why I call this is a failed attempt. The reason why for that I call this failed attempt is because when you sleep, you never know. You end up touching it. Like down here, sometimes down here would curl up and it touches you, or it touches your legs or whatever. And then, like I said, I stated many videos, you cannot do out of any fabric, the safest fabric it has to be is 100% cotton. And some guy did that recently and he said, oh, I measured it, but there's no continuity. No, there isn't continuity. But we're dealing with nano, okay? We call it nano. That means smallest particle that you cannot measure with any current equipment right now. Even the best equipment in the world, we cannot measure in nanoscale. Radiation is in nanoscales, believe it or not, okay? So that's why this was a failed attempt, and I told you it's a failed attempt because I made out of fleece. Now, to correct this, I would have to go and buy cotton, 100% cotton. And then I would to make it, and then that way, I can cover the inside. So all I have to do is redo it again and cover the inside. Now here's the thing, if you want to measure that, like I said, it's very easy to measure this. All you have to do is ground yourself, plus with the meter, and rub on fleece. Automatically you would get statics. What is statics? Electricity. What is electricity? Radiation. So please don't ever quote me on certain things that you do not know. Because if you watch some of my videos, I am very knowledgeable about radiation. I understand a lot more radiation than some people think. And if you don't think so, go test it yourself. Learn it. Test it yourself, and then you will understand what I'm talking about. Okay? I have many videos testing about that. Even there was a video about my dog that I'm stealing his radiation. I'm stealing his electricity. What is electricity? Radiation. But here's the thing about this cloak, and that's why I call it a failure. Yes, I fail a lot of things too in life. But hey, I learn from it. The reason why for this is that here is the best part that a lot of people don't understand. And I'm going to teach you. All the radiation particles are bombarded. Okay? And it absorbs onto this metal because this is silver. It will absorb to that. But here's the number one question that people do not know. What's next? Where's the radiation going to go? Nowhere. When you touch it, you absorb it. So all that radiation was blocking, but when you touch it, you absorb it. So then what's the point having this cloak? And that's why, and here it is again, If you've seen this video, and you've seen many of my videos, I say grounding. Yes, so I made a clip, and I ground it. I ground to a part down here at night, and that got a little bit better. But here is still my problem, and I will say it again. Sometimes this, I will touch it. Also, this is absorbing to my hair or my skin. Or if I wear this and I have hair on it, I'm being absorbed right now. Not a lot, but nano, okay? You have to remember, we're calling nano nanoparticles, okay? If you don't understand that, nanotechnologies is coming. There's a lot of research into nanotechnology. They already made a lot of things already, and they always, if you want to check that out, here's the thing, okay? With nanotechnology, just one strand of hair, you can fill all the information in the world into one strand of hair about this long. Yeah. Yup. So that means one strand of hair can hold the whole earth's information. Can you imagine? But hey, here's example. Look at the memory cards. Okay? I just bought one recently. Funny, this happened to be here, and I just bought one recently. I had to buy one for my video here. Can you imagine? A little tiny thing that fits into here, okay, a little tiny piece, contain 128 gigs. Yeah. Do you know how much is 128 gigs of data? If you don't, you better check that out. That's not even nanotechnology. This is just regular technology. What we have now. Now imagine when we go into nanotechnology, when they discover how to fit that into the strand of hair. Can you imagine? With the size of a stranded hair curled together into a little tiny thing, can fit the whole world information, can fit the whole world's library in it. That means, just like number one right here can fit the whole world in it, even 128 gigs cannot fit a whole world in it. But imagine just for that little tiny piece right there, even less than that, can fit the whole world in it. Yeah. Anyway, I know some of these gonna be way beyond certain people, but it's just to show you I am very knowledgeable, very blah 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 blah. Oh, I hate that word. Knowledgeable about a lot of things. And yes, I do study a lot. I study in my sleep too. Hey, here's one example. So during my sleep, yes, I study how I sleep. I study how it behaves. I study so much that this becomes a failure. How would we fix this? Simple. I have to put one layer on the outside. I have to make another one. One layer on the outside, one layer in the inside, double it, and then I hide this in here. But here's the thing. Now remember, I will always tell you, you have to ground. So that means I have to make a special area down here somewhere where I have to hook my grounding wire in. So that way, everything is being absorbed. It will go straight to the ground. Get it? So, that's what I did. Before my Faraday cage, that's what I made. Okay? I made a cloak. I figured, I can use this outside. Oh, I can bring this outside. I can wear this on the outside. I can wear blah blah blah. I can go wherever I want because I'm being Cloak. But here's the issue. It's okay to block, but remember, there's tons of radiation being not blocked. There is never a block. Radiation actually absorbs in here. I have actually made a video, and I teach people actually how to understand electrons, okay? You're not blocking. You're not deflecting. It is actually every electron absorbed into here. And that's how they make a battery. So check this up here out. I explained that in a very simple concept in that battery. So if you want to check that out and learn more about how radiation or electrons works, check out the battery. Then you will understand how electron actually works. And that's why I said it is very important for you to ground. If you do not ground, this will be your enemy. It becomes your enemy instead. So no point of making a cloak. And that's how this cloak becomes a failure. Today, I saw this guy, he posted and he told me to, why don't I make, like, similar to this, a cloak or whatever, like a beehive suits. And so I explained to him, and I hope he understands, and I said, wait a minute, why don't I just make a video? So, without him, this video wouldn't exist. So, hey, there you go. I hope you watch this video because then you will understand what I'm talking about. So, basically, yes, it's a failure, but it can be fixed. Is that my next step? I have to make a double of this out of cotton material. And with the cotton material, it cannot absorb through me. It's exactly not absorbing through me. It just can't pass through me because I have a layer without touching it. Understand? Because this fabric have continuity on both sides. Actually, when I rub on this, I'm stealing whatever's absorbed into here. And that's why I said, remember, we're not blocking it. We're actually absorbing it. This, believe it or not, and I will be the first person in the world to explain this to you. It will absorb into here until it's full. Then it'll bounce out. It will no longer able to absorb anymore, sort of like a battery. Sort of like your car battery, okay? Think of that. And see that video up here, and you will understand what I am talking about right now. So once this is full, okay, it'll try to absorb as much as it can, and it will stay right there. Once it's full, then it'll start blocking. But, if you touch it, then you're stealing some of it. So it's actually giving this thing more reason to absorb some more. During that time, the radiation is actually coming through you. It's actually giving it to your body. So there's no point. You're actually making yourself worse by wearing this. Yes, you heard it correctly. By touching this material, I'm getting a little headache already. So, and that's why I call it my failure. Of course, it's a failure. But I've learned something from it. Okay, that's part of the reason why I'm making this video. Is for people to understand what is going on in here. And that's why I said, and I will say it again and again and again, grounding is so important. Okay, please remember that. Grounding, it is so important. And you have to ground. Your cage has to be ground. Remember I said that cage has to be ground. Your cloak, if you make a cloak, you have to ground. Here's the problem. When you go outside, when you go out in the world, you cannot ground because you need to ground. You get that now? So, that's why it's a failure, because I can actually leave this inside a house and I can enjoy it, yes. But every time I wear this, I have to actually ground. That way, everything bombarded to here, it's being absorbed to the ground. And if you don't understand about grounding, I'll link 2 videos here. I have 2 of them. Part 1 and Part 2. See that. View that. That way, it'll be worth it for you to understand how grounding actually works. And I also talk about a lot of things about grounding. How human history, we have been grounding and we don't even know it. But I've talked about those in those 2 videos so you can understand. So, that's probably my conclusion to this video, because it's about 20 something minutes long. And I hope that you understand how blocking radiations and how grounding and blocking is very important. They have to go to hand in hand together, and I cannot stress that enough. I will never ever be able to stress that enough for people to understand that it is very important for you to ground. You have to ground. Even when you're wearing this, you have to ground. Can you imagine? You have to have a wire, your ground wire, going into your electrical, or you can make a dedicated one outside of your house, and you would sit and you would enjoy it. That's the only time that radiation cannot attack you. Other than that, just touch here alone, I am already sending a bunch of radiation to my body right now. Wet my finger and lick it, it's even worse. Okay, so even when you go outside, you're even worse. And if you wear this in the rain, thunder will get you even faster. So anyway, hey, there's another thing new. There's another proven concept right there. If you don't think that's gonna work, wear this. Make one of these and wear it and go outside and go into the field and wait for lightning to come. You see what happened to you. I don't think you'll be able to be alive to tell other people what happened to you. But anyway, so that's part of it. And I'll pan it one more. It's very long. You can see it's very long. Okay? Because I want it to be, I wanted to cover a lot of things. I know I can't show it because I don't have a mannequin. I wish I have a mannequin to do it. But I made it just a hoodie. And I made it just like, you know, like I just referred to her. What's her name? Red Riding Hood. That's what basically is. Just a cloak. Like, you know how Red Riding Hood wear that red thing. And then it's just really big. See it? It's really big. And it covers the whole body so I can be able to sleep. And I couldn't believe that I actually made this 2 years ago. I made this 2 years ago before I made my Faraday cage. And I'll link that Faraday cage here too. And that's the reason why I went to went and get the Faraday cage. Can you sleep this in a Faraday cage? Yes, you can. You still have to ground it though. But it will be extra protection for sure in a Faraday cage. Because your Faraday cage are already grounding. So anything extra that is leaking through, you'll be able to do it. So it's sort of like double there. But here's the problem that I didn't like before I go. I didn't like this too much. It's because it's really hot. This fabric blocks a lot of things and it keeps the heat in. And it becomes really hot, which I did not like. And that's why I stuck with my Faraday cage. And that's why I went and I bought all the material to make my Faraday cage. And yes, it cost a total about $700 total. $600 for the fabric. And about $100 in materials and threads and miscellaneous items. And so it's about $700 total for my Faraday cage. But every penny was worth it. Because I wake up fresh. I wake up nice, my body doesn't hurt, blah 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 blah. My health got better, my breathing got better, oh my god, I sleep like about 4 hours a day, and the rest I'm staying awake. So you can tell right there, who in the world tells you that they sleep only 4 hours a day, 4 or 5 hours a day, and have all the energy? Well, there you go. You can try it yourself and you see what happens. Within a month, you're going to do the same thing. You sleep about an average, if you're really tired or you do other things, probably 6 hours most. That's it. 6 hours in a whole day. The rest, you just stay awake. You get so much energy, you don't even know where it come from. But anyway, I'm going to end this video. Someone got inspired me to make this video, so I explained this further. But I hope that by explaining this and stuff, maybe this will help someone to understand about radiations even further. Because this is about, it's not about the cloak, it's not about this, not about that, it's about radiation. How radiation actually work, or electromagnetic actually works. And that's why they call it electromagnetic, because the electro is the magnet, it attached to metals, and that's what this is. It's just silver material. That's it. Yeah, I got this material and it was expensive, but, you know, I did it because I thought I went to a cheaper route. But in the end of it all, I went with my Faraday cage, and I'm happy with my Faraday cage. So, like they said sometimes, running all around in circles, you could have just spent the money on a Faraday cage and forget about it. Well, there you go. There's your answer right there. I went all around. I tried to be cheap. I tried to do this. I tried to do that. I ended up getting a Faraday cage anyway. So, hey, there's a lesson. But I always tell you, my lesson becomes yours. Okay? That's what basically is. My lessons becomes yours. And that's why I call this a failure. I didn't really want to make the video, but hey, it gives me a reason to make the video. 2 years, it sat there doing nothing. Hey, might as well make a video out of it. Somebody can learn something from it, right? Anyway, other than that, on this video, and I will see you in the next video, okay?